Good day. Thank you for joining us for today's news. If you find this helpful, please consider subscribing. We're here every day with calm, clear updates just for you.
A 32-year-old Chinese man was found hanging in a U.S. immigration detention center in Pennsylvania just 5 days after he was transferred there. He had been sentenced to 6 months in prison for credit card fraud and was awaiting an immigration hearing. This is the second reported suicide of a Chinese national in an American detention facility. The incident has sparked concerns about the mental health and treatment of detainees, with advocates calling for reforms in the U.S. immigration system. The tragedy highlights the urgent need for better conditions and support for individuals in custody, especially those facing legal and personal challenges.
In a sudden and devastating turn of events, flash floods struck Yusheng County in Gansu Province, claiming the lives of 13 people and leaving 30 others missing. The floods, triggered by intense rainfall over 2 days, overwhelmed local communities to the area, working tireless to love. The incident has sparked a renewed focus on disaster preparedness and flood prevention as local and national authorities work to support the affected families. This tragedy tossed the need for improved infrastructure and early warning systems in the face of increasingly protectable weather patterns.
A Chinese student was seriously injured after being attacked by a group of minors in a shopping mall in Hobart, Tasmania. The incident has raised serious concerns about the safety of Chinese citizens in the region. The Chinese Consulate General in Melbourne has issued an urging travel and take necessary precaution. The consulate has also called on local authorities to investigate the incident thoroughly and ensure the swift prosecution of those responsible in the wake of the attack. The consulate has offered support to the victim and their family, emphasizing the need for stronger measures to protect Chinese citizens abroad.
A gynecologist in Henan Province took her own life after enduring relentless online harassment linked to medical disputes. This tragic event has brought the issue of online violence into the spotlight once again. While medical disputes are common and complex, they should be addressed through legal channels. The internet is not a lawless space, and those who incite online violence must be held accountable. Experts argue that the solution lies in shifting from reactive measures to proactive prevention, improving legal avenues for dispute resolution. The incident serves as a sobering rise in shifting.
A sudden and violent shooting erupted in the heart of New York's Times Square on the early morning of August the 9th. 2025 of Farik, 17-year-old suspect opened fire near the intersection of 44th Street and 7th Avenue, causing chaos and fear among pedestrians. 18-year-old woman, a 90-year-old man, and a 65-year-old man. The suspect was quickly arrested, but police have not yet released his identity or explained the motive. This event has once again highlighted the persistent issue of gun violence in New York, prompting calls for stronger community and law enforcement measures to prevent such tragedies in the future.
Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to make history by visiting the United States' remote state of Alaska. First for any Russian leader, this unprecedented move has drawn global attention, with analysts and diplomats eager to see what this pivot might mean for U.S. and President Donald Trump has confirmed the meeting with Putin, scheduled for August the 15th, and the world is watching closely to see what this high-level dialogue might achieve.
In a rare and sharply worded statement, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Frichteist, has launched a fierce critique of UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer following Starmer's call for Israel to reconsider its plan for Gaza. Frichteist's comments, posted on social media, questioned Starmer's stance, accusing him of being complicit in the accusation. The remarks came in response to Starmer's criticism of Israel's announced plan to defeat Hamas in Gaza, which he argued would not end the conflict, but lead to more civilian casualties. This exchange goes to the complex and often contentious nature of international diplomacy.
In a bold move, the United States has increased the reward for capturing Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro to $50 million, more than doubling as part of a broader U.S. strategy to target Maduro's regime, which it accuses of numerous human rights The U.S. has also seized over $700 million in assets linked to Maduro. In response, Venezuela's defense minister called the reward illegal and an affront to the country's sovereignty. The U.S. continues to apply pressure on Maduro, while tensions between the two nations remain. The situation highlights the deepening conflict and the U.S.'s growing focus on dismantling Maduro's influence.
On August the 9th, 2025, the police in Zion released details of an investigation into a conflict that occurred at a Hanfu shop on August the 3rd. The incident began with a customer's dispute that escalated into a physical fight, resulting in injuries several individuals on Doved Habi. The authorities are urging businesses to improve customer service and conflict resolution practices. This case has sparked discussions on the importance of maintaining public order and preventing such incidents through better communication and training.
A chilling honor killing in Pakistan has sparked outrage. A brother executed his sister in a remote area of Balochistan, lured under the pretense of a family gathering. The incident, captured on video, has reignited debates about the role of tribal courts in the failure of Leacher. A 2016 law criminalizing such acts. The system of violence remains deeply entrenched, with many activists questioning why these tribal courts still exist.
A 57-year-old gynecologist in Henan Province fell to her death after facing severe online harassment. The tragedy has raised questions about the role of institutional failure, including the inaction of law enforcement and the lack of support from the hospital. Despite legal protections against cyberbullying, the case highlights a gap between. The doctor had reported the situation twice, but authorities failed to take meaningful action. Hospitals, too, did not take steps to clear her name or provide mental health support. This case proves the urgent need for stronger legal frameworks, better hospital policies, and faster responses to online abuse. Only by addressing FIs.
Recent statements by Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos about potential in China Marquand Strait the Philippines. Marcos sa Consulam Poch. The Chinese government has emphasized the principle of non-interference in the internal affairs of other nations. A cornerstone of international law, the Philippines has been urged to uphold this. Repeat poverty and avoid actions that could destabilize the region as the Philippines navigates its racial.
Late one night, in New Quartic City, a famous actress found herself in a tense standoff with police. She was caught running a red light and refused to comply with a routine check, leading to a dramatic chase. Despite officers using force to break the car window, she tried to escape, only to be cornered by 4 officers who subdued her on the spot. The incident captured on video shows her struggling and shouting, "I can't breathe." She later claimed the officers were injured by her vehicle. This isn't the first time she's been in trouble. Earlier this year, she was arrested for entering a police station. Now the public is watching closely as this incident sparks a larger conversation.
The Philippines has been making increasingly provocative statements regarding the Taiwan Strait, raising serious concerns about its intentions, and the influence of the United States on its foreign policy could not remain neutral if a conflict were to break out between China and the United States over Taiwan. These statements. The Taiwan issue is a matter of Chinese sovereignty and internal affairs, and no external party has the right to interfere. The Philippines has long made solemn commitments to China, affirming its adherence to the One China policy. However, its recent ambience behavior in the South China Sea and now in the Taiwan Sea. These measures have given the Philippines a false sense of security, encouraging its increasingly reckless behavior, yet the Philippines' motives are not entirely clear. While it may be seeking to leverage its position in the South China Sea to gain political and economic, is eager to please its U.S. allies. However, such a strategy is ultimately self-defeating, as history has shown that those who align themselves with foreign powers for short-term gains often end up facing severe consequences.
On August the 8th, Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador firmly denied reports that the U.S. might send troops into Mexico to fight drug cartels. He said there was no possibility of American forces entering the country, and that Mexico had been informed about any proposed U.S. action. This comes amid ongoing tensions between the two nations over drug trafficking and security. while the U.S. has previously taken military action in Latin America. The idea of direct involvement in Mexico faced strong U.S. counter-drug efforts in the region would require close coordination with Mexico, but the move is unlikely to happen. That's all for today's news. We appreciate your time. If you enjoyed this update, please consider subscribing. Your support helps us keep going.